This was the first image taken of the earth in its entirety. A lonely blue marble rendered grey by the black and white film it's captured on. The image was precisely taken in 1966. This was the same decade which brought in something else through the ruins of Cold War paranoia of America.
The big difference when he grows up, in fact, if we wanted to wait till the year 2001, is that he will have in his own house a console through which he can talk to his friendly local computer and get all the information he needs for his everyday life, like his bank statements, his theater reservations, all the information you need in the course of living in a complex modern society.
I came in contact with my first internet connection at my college. It was a dial-up connection.
The telephone is connected to the telephone network with a British Telecom plug, and I simply remove the telephone jack from the telecom socket and plug it into this box here, the modem.
The speed of about 100 kbps, which was too slow.
Internet was made public in the year 1993, and right away it reached the slow, sleepy town of Aurangabad. This meant something, that there was no way to stop this monster. This is not going to be about the internet. But this is also not going to be about the internet. I actually don't know what this is going to be about. Alright, so let me explain. I'm a highly self-obsessed 20-something human being who cannot think of anything else except the things which directly affect me. Being a functioning part of this complex society scares the living shit out of me, so I romanticize my comforting past nowadays. School days and maths homework, I guess. But when I think of my present, it all goes black. Time renders most things shapeless. My thoughts are one of them, and so this documentary too. Therefore, what you're about to watch is not fact or fiction. It's neither important nor is it zeitgeisty. It's a collection of Rand's opinions and a whole bunch of other shit about the preoccupations of a 20-something. I know I should clean my house. I just don't. In the same way, I can't stop doing this. It's not conscious.
आता कसं झालेलं आहे, प्रत्येक जण आपल्या फोनवर स्वाईप करत बसलेला आहे. मला स्वतःला अजिबात आवडत नाही. आम्ही सगळे सोबत बसलेलो आहोत आणि सगळे फोनवर आहेत आणि सगळे स्वाईपिंग करतायत आणि मी तर अशी टकमक पाहते सगळ्यांकडे.
Somewhere you have to stop because the information is information and that information is pouring onto your screen.
Actually, software designs human behavior. If you see people scrolling whole day, people swiping whole day, people's thumb being more active than their eyes, it's a new behavior which the older generation does not have.
But they did have slot machines, and this user experience of scrolling is based on the same principle of positive reinforcement. And just like slot machines, when you snap out of it and realize the fugue state you went in, it's hard but not to feel cheated.
फॉलोअर्स बढ़ाने बहुत आसान है इंस्टाग्राम पे, मैंने कर रखा है. दिन के 10 पोस्ट और तुम्हारा स्पाइक हो जाएगा. मतलब हफ्ते में तुम्हारे हो जाएंगे 1000-2000 फॉलोअर्स. कुछ भी डाल दो.
In Frank Herbert's Dune, all the houses and all the people in the world are hungry for one thing: the spice, which is the basis of the entire civilization. For us human beings, and the advertising industry snorts it left and right, the spice is, wait for it, human attention.
Personally, for me, if like 10,000 people see you laugh at my joke in a room, I'd shit my pants. Back then, I used to hit like 10,000 views in like an hour or something. It was like a lower version of an addiction. It was like, oh, on Tuesday I uploaded these numbers, I made these numbers. On Wednesday, these numbers. Thursday, these numbers. Oh, Friday didn't do well.
Imagine you're walking through a loud, crazy, massive storm, the kind of storm which doesn't let you see anything. But then, you open a random door and suddenly everything is quiet. I've been thinking a lot about Shawshank Redemption and Plato's allegory of the cave. More than the allegory, the image of this man living inside a cave, chained up, looking at shadows on the wall and kind of interpreting them as reality. And when he's finally freed, Brooks from Shawshank goes out and he's unable to handle the real world. It's too much for him. I have a niece who's a couple of months old. And I kind of fear for her nowadays. I don't fear that she'll grow up and she'll discover this real world and it'll be difficult and dangerous. No, it's not that. It's these images which are served to us through the internet. They're made by advertisers and they serve this agenda of corporations. These images which tell us how to live, which kind of set the standards of our life, show us how to perfectly spend your time or perfectly have your breakfast or perfectly do this or that, or yeah, these images is what I fear. And the frustrations that come with trying to match up to these images, trying to constantly make that perfect whatever life. It won't ever reach there. That's the saddest part. It won't ever reach that perfect image. And this dissonance between perfect and normal, real and ideal, is what I fear. Because this happened to me from 2015 to 2019. I was doing my engineering. It was quite good. But this dissonance is what fucked up my studies. It fucked up my computer science engineering career, which was, I kind of liked computer science. It wasn't bad. And it brought me here to this really expensive boiling pot of a city. Now, I'm not saying that being here is good or bad, because many good things have happened after I came here, but I'm just saying that this dissonance is the worst thing in the world. And I just don't want this dissonance to be there. And I kind of blame this dissonance on the internet.
I felt that internet is going to be a very useful thing. Therefore, I decided, in spite of the fact that I was not in a position to afford at that time so much of money for computers and internet. But I thought, even if there are some kind of constraints in the kind of learning, kind of studying, kind of resource availability within a place where I was living, they should not be having any kind of difficulty in understanding the things, because they should have a window to world open for them.
इंटरनेट से बहुत फर्क पड़ा है, इंस्टाग्राम से मोस्टली, क्योंकि यहाँ दोस्त बने, फॉलोअर्स बने, सिनेमा मतलब नीश सिनेमा डिस्कस करना पानीपत जैसे छोटे शहर में इज इम्पॉसिबल, नियर इम्पॉसिबल, कोई नहीं देखता। और फिर इंटरनेट ने मतलब वो अपॉर्चुनिटी दी है, तो अभी मैं रोज डिस्कस करता हूँ सिनेमा।
I find it as a good thing, unpredictable one. It gives me butterflies in my stomach when I think about stuff like this. There might be risks in that, there might be good things in that, but you never know.
Some days ago, I visited my grandma, who's notorious for using her phone.
विणकाम करताना आपल्याला आज काय विणायचं हे यूट्यूबवरून पाहून ठरवते. आणि मग जर विणायचं असेल यूट्यूबवरून तर हळूहळू हळूहळू पाहून पाहायचं विणायचं, थोडा वेळ बंद करायचं, परत विणायचं, असं करते. पिंटरेस्टवर मी बऱ्याचशा गोष्टी सेव्ह केल्या पिंटरेस्टच्या आवडणाऱ्या, आणि आवडणाऱ्या वस्तू मी बनवल्या सुद्धा. पिंटरेस्टचं फक्त इमेजेस मिळतात आपल्याला, शिकवत नाहीत ते फक्त इमेजेस घ्यायचे त्यांच्या, आणि जर ते येणार नसलं तर यूट्यूबवर पाहून करायचं.
असं कधी कधी वाटतं का की नको वाचायला, नको फोनच, थोडं असं वाटतं?
युट्यूबच पाहावं
हा.
असं बऱ्याच वेळा होतं ना, मग वाचन बंद होतं आणि ते पाहत बसतो ना आपण. कंट्रोल करावंच लागतं, कारण ते वाचनही महत्त्वाचंच असतं ना. खूप काही यूट्यूबवर जर आपण बसलो तर वाचनाकडे दुर्लक्ष होईल. मग कोडे सोडवते ना, शब्द कोडे, मग ते फोन बाजूला असतो एकदम.
This reminds me of another friend that I had spoken to who had said something similar to this.
The thing about dopamine is it gives you a trick of actually fulfilling something, as you said, by doing regular instant stuff.
Right.
But I think somewhat of a point of optimism is that if you actually realign your priorities such that you actually reject that dopamine, and instead of going for fulfillment and desire there, you go for fulfillment of desire towards making YouTube videos or working out, etc., etc. It's sort of after a certain point of time you're in that cycle.
Finally, the wheels were starting to turn. See, I made this film with an expectation that I'll be able to frame a certain struggle against the machine in our society through the microcosm of my family and a couple of friends. But really, the struggle is not so grave. Everyone has their own way to deal with the internet, their own way to not listen to their impulse of not cleaning. Every generation has their shit, you know. At least we don't have that intense shit. We kind of have to deal with it. And in the wise words of the dude,
Yeah, fuck it, man. Can't be worried about that shit. Life goes on.
and if you're now asking why then did you make this film, I don't know. I kind of wanted to talk about this for a long time. That's why. And maybe let's assume maybe people just keep on swiping, scrolling, and their brains just turn into. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the future. We are here to witness the last spark that happened on the earth after a few earthlings took control of the rest by surveilling, indoctrinating, and polarizing the entire species in order to sell car insurances. The visuals will be accompanied by the #1 cultural export of the earth, the chillest song ever made in the entire history of the universe. So strap in and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.